Good morning and welcome to the new episode of Saturday Special. We are all interested in the education of our children and we send our students, our children to the best possible schools. Education is the passport to the future. But do they really learn those skills that help them be successful at work? No, they don't. And most of the schools fail to impart the most important life skills. 7 is a magical number. 7, 9. So I have identified 7 skills which I call to be real life skills which are extremely important. The children today are facing a global achievement gap. And what is this global achievement gap? This gap is between what the students and the children are being taught even in the best of the schools and the skills that they really need to learn and they are not being taught. There have been two colliding trends. Two trends which have opposed each other. The global shift to an industrial economy and that global economy, that industrial economy is slowly shifting to knowledge economy. That's the first shift. The second one is that the children who have been brought up on a staple food of internet are motivated to learn. So the motivation is there. The end is there. But we have not been able to achieve the end and exploit that motivation. So what are those skills? The first is critical thinking and problem solving. People in business today need to improve products, processes, and services so that they can compete properly. The USP is improvement every day. So the industry, the employer needs workers with critical thinking skills who can ask appropriate questions to get to the bottom of a problem. Today, the need is not as much for upholders and doers, it's for thinkers and questioners. The people who can question, the people who can ask, they are the needed people. So the first thing that the children have to be taught is critical thinking, leading to problem solving, and that critical thinking is not a part of our education system. The second is collaboration across networks and leading by influence. Given the interconnected nature of our world today, leadership skills and ability to influence and work together are becoming increasingly important. The teamwork, because any knowledge has to be shared with others. And to put it into business, to put it to work, you have to work as a team. But then that is useless until you are a good leader. You have to have a network, a collaborative work, and then proceed further. So, the second thing is they have to be taught leading by influence, peer pressure is the ideal form of leadership. And the third is agility and adaptability. Gone are the days when you used to have one idea and stick to it. Today we need jumping and progressing by leaps and bounds. So until you have the ability to adapt and pick up the new skills, you cannot be successful. To be really successful, it's vital that you have the agility to adapt. So A leads to success. Workers must be able to use a range of tools to solve a problem. This is also known as learnability, a sought after skill among the job candidates. So until learnability is there, until ability to adapt is there, you cannot be successful. And show me a single curriculum in any school which teaches this skill. And the fourth one, entrepreneurship and initiative. There's no harm in trying. Let's not forget it. Till now, the education system says, learn what is being taught to you, not learn from experience, not learn on your own. People and businesses suffer when they have a tendency to be risk averse. It's better to try 10 things and succeed in 8 than to try 5 and succeed in all of them. So initiative in more areas, in more disciplines, and ability to absorb those lessons, ability to adapt those lessons to the day's needs. These are the skills that are taught. Now, another skill which has been important earlier, but it's much more important today, that is effective oral and written communication. You know what happens is when the people have a fuzzy thinking and they are unable to anticipate their own thoughts, then they are not good people, good workers, successful workers. So the business leaders tell us that the young people's ability to use grammar and punctuation correctly, to spell correctly, and to communicate effectively, verbally, in writing, all when presenting, is important. Now, we are teaching them grammar, but not what is required, the effective practical grammar. You know, you might have excellent ideas, you might be able to adapt, but if you can't communicate them, if you can't present them properly, then you're lost. Now here, internet is a big obstacle in learning. The text messaging, which has become so prevalent, is in fact butchering grammar, spellings, and communication, which should be vital. They might be able to communicate, but it's so jarring on the nerves that you cannot enjoy it. So you have got to communicate in an effective manner. And until and unless you can communicate, your ideas, however good may be, are but trash. It's a communication which can salvage a bad idea if you present it properly. Then, the sixth one is assessing and analyzing information. We are today deluded, flooded with information. There's a tsunami of data coming. But assessing proper, relevant, pertinent information is much more important. I've seen people trying to go to the internet and Googling, but they don't know the keywords that need to be put there. So assessing proper information and then analyzing it. Information by itself has no meaning. You have to mine that information. And after mining the ore that you get, you have got to clean it, process it, and then the real sparkling result would be there. And then that has to be done on daily basis. Ability to shift through proper information and confusing information or misinformation, because internet brings you all sorts of information. There can be proper information, they are news, There can be misleading information, what they call the fake news, which I'll take it up in another episode, how to identify the fake news. And then to cull that proper information, analyze it, and then present it. Now, analysis is a part of the critical thinking, and presenting is a part of effective communication. But it's particularly important given how rapidly the information itself can change. So you have got to keep on updating that information that you have mined. And one of the most important skills, the seventh skill, is a skill which every child has. Unfortunately, in the humdrum of life and in this deadening, killing, corroding, suffocating education system that prevails today, that skill is murdered and butchered. That's the skill of curiosity and information. These two factors, how curious you are and how imaginative you are the keys to drive innovation. And they are also keys to solve problem solving. As I said earlier, we are all born very curious, very creative, very imaginative. And then our parents come to say, well, we have told you. They don't know it, so they want to crush the curiosity. Don't disturb me. That is a pet phrase of the parents who are incapable of solving the curious questions, inquisitive questions of the children. And then, by the time they go to the school system also believes in conformity. So average 4-year-old, it has been researched, an average 4-year-old asks about 100 questions per day. And out of 100 questions that a child asks, this is a Harvard University study, the parents are able to answer not more than 2 or 3 questions. And by the time child is 10-year-old, he is more likely to end up getting answers to his 7 or 8 questions. And those answers which he gets may not be right. So he is more concerned with answering questions than receiving answers. But the child goes to the school. The teachers are asking questions. He is not allowed to ask the questions. The traffic which should be from the student to the teacher is reversed from the teacher to the student. That way, I admire the old system of education. The Gurukuls in India and the schools of Socrates and Aristotle, which was more in the form of conversation, more in the form of dialogue. Because there the curious students would ask the questions and answers would be given to them. When the teachers and the parents' need is to keep alive that curiosity, that imagination, which is innate in every child. And it's the teachers and the parents who destroy that spirit of curiosity and imagination. Now, these life skills, these 7 life skills are essential skills. If you want to be successful, or you want your child to be successful in the life that is unfolding. The old textbook approach has limited relevance, maybe 10 to 15%. But if you don't have imagination, if you don't have initiative, if you don't have the ability to adapt, if you don't have the ability to mine information and analyze it, and if you don't have the critical thinking and problem-solving ability, if you cannot collaborate across the networks and lead by influence, then you are not likely to be successful. These 7 skills, if you are taught and if you teach your children, would make them not only curious, not only progressive, not only develop innate leadership qualities, but will also help them critical think and assert and solve the problems. And what is life but problem solving? How can you solve a problem if you don't have these basic life skills? So, if you want your children really to be successful, teach them these skills, and you would not regret changing their perspective and possibly your own perspective. Thank you.